Hello, this is CurtisCroweThePhotoPro here to show you how slaves and masters work. Now, get your mind out of the gutter because I'm talking about flashes, of course. Do not Google or more importantly, Bing slave and master. Don't do it. It's terrible. I've been there. It's a terrible corner of the internet. Anyway, but to get started, I have my YN560 Mark III set for a wireless manual. I will not be using the camera, but don't mind the wireless part. And just to show you that it's not being triggered off wireless, I have my YN560 Mark IV not set to wireless. So what is slave and master? Slave and master is a photography term, or should I say flash term, in which you have one master flash which sends out a signal to all the other slave flashes, which then get the signal from the master flash to flash themselves. Now, there are limitations with this. Slave and master setup, you can only shoot in manual. There are no ETTL modes for slave and master setups. This literally sends out one very quick flash that, when read by the sensor in the front of the flash, will then allow itself to shoot the flash. So to give you an idea of how functional this is, we're going to go to a more darker environment so you can see better on how the flashes trigger off each other. So let's head on out. We are in a darker environment. As you can tell, I did not change exposure and I am now darker. So you can trigger these in a very bright environment, but it won't show up on the camera very well. So to get started, I have my master flash here and I'm going to go ahead and set it off. And I'm going to show you. I set this for the weakest setting and this for the strongest setting to show you that it is, in fact, receiving the slave signal from the YN63 to the YN64. And to go over our setup one more time, this is the YN63. It is set as the master. It will trigger to the slave through a flash signal. I put this to the weakest setting and this to the strongest setting to give you a better idea of actually how well it's working and how weak of a signal it can get in order to trigger. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the pilot button now for the YN63, and I'm going to face it just right towards each other and slightly towards the camera so that way you can actually see. See, and that's with the flash not even facing towards it. Now these two flashes can be facing completely away from each other, and this one's still going to go off. And just to show you one more time. See? This one's still going off. And this is on the weakest setting. So it's hitting this wall, traveling back against this wall in order to hit the receiver, which is facing this direction. To show you, though, that this isn't being controlled wirelessly, I'm going to go ahead and cover the front completely and flash. See? Not going off. It's just this one. But when I take my hand off it, boom, and we wait for it to, there we go, get the clear light. The slave and master settings in your flash is a very archaic way of doing it, but it's very effective because with the weakest setting, being able to travel across the room, bounce off multiple walls before it actually hits the sensor on here, and for this to still go off while the shutter is opening up and closing is pretty freaking awesome. So if you're one of those people that are like, I need a PocketWizard. Well, maybe you don't want to spend your money quite yet. And you're looking for a solution outside of PocketWizards in order to wirelessly set off your flashes. If you do have a slave and master setup, this will allow you to wirelessly set off your flashes without any additional attachments. If you'd like to check out the YN560s, I will have a link for you in the description. And if you want me to make a video to see how effective slave and master works in an outdoors environment, I would be more than happy to do that for you because it is a bit trickier outdoors, but it is still very possible. So leave a comment section down below, like this video if it was helpful for you, share it to your other photographer friends, subscribe if you want more video content. My name is Curtis Crowe, and as I always do, toodles.